Hope you enjoyed this, guys. Bye.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Six Pack Abs. I'm Coach Crystal Mitchell.
And I'm Coach Johnny Catanzano.
And today, as promised, we told you we would go over another video that discussed the reasons why you're not losing weight. And of course, there are many things that contribute to that, but we narrowed it down to the top 5.
That's right. So for Whiteboard Wednesday this week, we've got Six Pack Abs, top 5 reasons why you are not losing weight. Thanks, Coach Crystal, for the introduction. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through 1 through 5, just talk about each topic just a little bit so you understand maybe where there's some areas where you may be falling short, or maybe some areas where you're excelling in and it might be one of the other areas. So first, let's talk about number 1, you are losing weight, okay? This is huge, and the most common reason why I see, and even with my clients, they'll say in the first few weeks of work, I'm not losing any weight, blah, blah, blah. And that's why I'm very adamant about data. So progress pictures, measurements, how your clothes fit, how you feel, those are all data points that need to be taken in consideration other than the scale. 95 to 99% of us, I would say, if I had to guess, are really only relying on what the scale says. And if you've watched our other whiteboard videos, you'll know that fat loss is not linear. It's gonna go up, it's gonna go down. The scale is not gonna show you what you wanna see, especially in the beginning. Your body's going through quite a lot of physiological changes. Let's talk about this. A gallon of water is 8 pounds. So depending on your hydration for that day or that day before, or depending on how much sodium you consumed, or maybe how much carbs you had that day, or how much you exercised. I just wanted to get there because there's a lot of variables that can go into that. So before you worry about these 4, make sure that you actually aren't already making progress, have more data, photos, measurements, obviously the scale weight, use it as a metric, body fat test. There's so many different things you can do to get and collect data points.
Right, and also realize, guys, that you're not gonna notice your own progress as much as other people are, because you see yourself every single day.
Correct. For the average person, I would say it probably takes 4 weeks for them to see a difference in the mirror. But I have clients where I can literally show differences in little as 1 week of time of just following the proper nutrition and exercise plan.
Exactly, yes. So moving on to number 2, tracking incorrectly. This is huge, guys. You have to make sure you're tracking your food, especially when you're getting started, because you need to learn. You're new to macros, right? So you need to know exactly what you're doing. So find a good app that tracks correctly. Measure everything. Use your measuring cups, your tablespoons. Measure exactly to a T until you learn, the correct portions for yourself.
If you've watched our other whiteboard series, we explained to you about calories and macros, and that you need a calorie deficit in order to lose body fat. So like Crystal said, if you're tracking incorrectly or you're underreporting is another one, that'll really cause some issues with your progress. Underreporting would be like, well, maybe you're accounting for the calories in your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but you don't count the calories from the 3 handfuls of almonds and the Coca-Cola that you had at lunchtime.
Creamer.
Or the coffee and the creamer and that sort of thing. So always make sure that you are reporting everything that you consume, everything that goes in the mouth, but like Crystal said, also tracking it accurately. Yes. Food scale, measuring cups, you've got to use them. Yes. All right, moving to number 3, lack of compliance. This one is fairly self-explanatory, but this is for, so I always ask my clients when they update me is to give me a scale 1 to 100 every week on how close you stuck to the meal plan and you stuck to the workout plan.
It's easy to fall off, guys. We understand.
It really
Everybody's
is.
Human.
Lack of compliance, I would say, is somebody that's in that less than 80% adherence to the plan. So what that means is maybe Monday through Friday, you're great. Maybe you stick to your macros, you stick to your meals. But then Saturday and Sunday, it's college football's on Saturday. We got NFL fantasy on Sunday. Wings and beer and pizza. And then it just turns into tracking incorrectly and underreporting. You eat too many calories, and it kind of sets you back all that progress you had during the week. So lack of compliance is very common. It's something that it's just going to take time. And just know in the back of your mind, the more compliant you are, the more you stick to your guns and stick to your meal plan and your regimen, the more consistent you are, the better results and the faster results you will get.
Okay, so number 4, guys, high energy intake. So you may be taking in too much food. So you have to also be careful how you're calculating your macros. If you're using apps, or if you're doing an equation online, or if you're just guesstimating, if you figure out your calories and it's too much, you're gonna not be in deficit, which means you're not going to be losing fat, you're not going to be losing weight.
Great point. So, a lot of the calculations are estimates, and they'll give you that estimate of where you should be, but sometimes you need some adjusting. You need some trial and error, and if you notice in the first few weeks you're not getting the results and you're not starting to see that progress, you might want to go back
to the drawing board,
recalculate the macros, go watch our Whiteboard Wednesday on calculating those, and redo it. Now, this leads into our other topic on number 4, and that's overestimating your output.
Yes.
So for a lot of us, we maybe use the apps like Calorie King and Carb Manager and MyFitnessPal, and I've noticed in a lot of those apps, they will have you eat back your energy output, is what I like to say. So it'll factor in, hey, you worked out today, you burned 700 calories during your workout.
Go eat more.
The problem with that is it is 99% of the time it's way overestimated. For the average person, even in a gym workout, for an hour, hour and a half, you're only burning a few hundred calories. It's very rare that you're burning 700, 900, 1,000, 1,200 calories in a workout. So, and then what a lot of people do is they'll see in the app, hey, I worked out more, they'll eat back more food. And then the other thing that happens is just the overestimation. They're like, well, when they're doing their calorie intake calculation and the activity factor, they're like, well, you know, I work out 5 days a week, you know, I'm doing this.
They say it just like that.
I'm doing that, that's how they think it. I'm doing this and that, so they use a bigger activity multiplier than they should be for actually how active they are. I always recommend starting conservative when figuring out that calculation.
You can turn that off. There's something in the app that'll let you take off the activity. So it just shows your calorie intake.
Correct. The problem is when you start to eat back your energy output, you're preventing your body being able to dip into stored body fat. Your body is then going to be dealing with that extra food you ate, essentially, to put it in layman's terms.
Why you want to be in deficit, because that is what allows your body to go to the stored fat.
Correct. It's got to get in the fat shed out back. Exactly. And if you're eating too much food, it's going to deal with that. It's not going to get into the shed out back.
Good analogy, I like it.
Moving into number 5, and this one is a little bit of I'd say a hot button thing, but that is medical conditions. Absolutely, and I'm actually going to add a little addendum here for this one, and that's going to be prescription meds, okay?
Oh, this is huge, guys.
Very big. Now, this one is, and the reason I say it's a hot button topic, because there's a lot of people that say they have medical conditions, and that's the reason they're not losing weight, but they don't really have a medical conditions. Right. You know, the whole metabolic syndrome, metabolic damage, it's a very touchy subject, and it's not as prevalent as people may think. But legitimate medical conditions, like perhaps you have a mental condition, or you have something wrong with your thyroid or Hashimoto's, or most importantly, you're on prescription meds for something like that, these things can really play a very large role in slowing down your weight loss or preventing it altogether. Specifically, I know off the top of my head that a lot of mental health prescriptions and things like that, antidepressants, can play a very large role in preventing that weight loss. Also, things like with your thyroid and your hormones, certain people that have those conditions for a long time, it can make that weight loss extremely difficult. So if you do have a medically diagnosed by a doctor medical condition, or you're on prescription medications, this is something that needs to be taken into consideration. And we here at Six-Pack Abs recommend you discuss that with your doctor. Since we're not doctors, we discuss that with your doctor and find out what the pros and cons are and what you may or may not need to be aware of pertaining to your medical condition or prescription medication and weight loss.
Right, exactly. Find out what those prescription medications do to your body, guys. It's very, very important.
Okay. So we might have blown your mind a little bit. Maybe we opened your eyes, or filled it. Hopefully we opened your eyes on, and these are things that are pretty easy to overlook, especially in the beginning, because like Crystal said, you're worrying about calories and macros and tracking, and you got an app, and I got to go to the gym. So a lot of these things kind of get lost in translation. Sit down and think about these things. If you're not getting the progress you want, and if you make these adjustments and then you start getting the progress, great job.
Right. It's all trial and error, so don't beat yourself up. Just stay calm, stay relaxed, and just stay the course.
All right, guys, for a quick review on what we went over, the top 5 reasons why you might not be losing weight. All right, number 1, you actually are losing weight. Just chill, you're good, you're making progress. You don't think you are because you have no data and you're only using the scale. Number 2, you are tracking the calories you consume incorrectly. You're not using a food scale, you're not using measuring cups, or you're underreporting. You're only tracking the first 3 meals of the day and you're forgetting about your almond snacks and your energy drink and your coffee creamer and sugar. You gotta report all of it. Number 3, lack of compliance. You're only sticking to it about 70% of the time. Monday through Friday, you're great, but then the weekends you fall off the rails. You gotta stay consistent. Number 4, high energy intake. You're just eating too many calories still. The calculations to estimate your calorie intake are just estimates. You might need to adjust them. And then you also might overestimate how many calories you're actually expending. Make sure these numbers are in line. And number 5, medical conditions and prescription medications. A little less common, but definitely prevalent. If you have a serious diagnosed medical condition or you're taking prescription medications and you're looking to lose weight, make sure and discuss that with your doctor.
All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you learned something. Hope you take something away from this. We like doing these whiteboard series for you. Love to educate you. So please, again, if you have any questions, you want us to talk about any topics, leave a comment on the bottom. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe to this video, and click on your notifications so you're aware every time we put a new one out. Have a great day, guys.
Six Pack Abs, it's Coach Johnny.
And Coach Crystal.
We'll see you next time.
Crystal out.
Crystal out.